That's it. That's it. Bombs away.
So Kobra VR just dropped an atomic gunstock bomb on us with 2 new gunstocks, one of them being via a collapsing stock conversion kit for their most popular gunstock, the Wolverine DMR, and some new upgraded parts for their Ultra-Lite and Sidewinder stocks. If you're watching this and have never heard of Kobra VR, or have never seen one of their VR gunstocks before, then where have you been? Probably on the toilet, scrolling through TikTok for the past 2 years? I'm just kidding. Welcome to the channel, but you might want to check out this playlist up here in the cards that has reviews of all of their gunstocks. Okay, first up, let's talk about the conversion kit for the DMR. The Wolverine DMR is Kobra VR's most popular gunstock for the Quest platform. I don't know how many they've sold to date, but they're closing in on 4,000 total sales on their Etsy store, and I have to imagine a big chunk of those have been DMRs. Anyway, a while back, Kobra VR released their Sidewinder stock, which is a modification of their Ultra-Lite stock. It added a hinge in the middle of the Ultra-Lite, allowing the stock to be folded in half to make using handguns and small SMGs as well as throwing grenades easier and more intuitive. Naturally, people expressed a desire to add this functionality to their DMRs, so that is what we have here. And in this configuration, Kobra VR is calling this the Scout. Included in the conversion kit is the hinge and the 2 pieces of angle aluminum you'll need so you don't have to cut the strut that came with your DMR. It also includes this little trigger guard piece, which will be available in both black and white, allowing you to adapt your stock to a more compact design if you so prefer. To put it all together, you first strip all the parts off your DMR and then install your controller dock, magwell, and barrel onto the front, and your DMR shoulder stock to the back. For those of you that have an older push-button style DMR shoulder stock like I do, you're going to have to do a little modding to get it to work properly. I ended up cutting a new piece of angle aluminum 7 1/4 inches long and then drilled out some holes at the same spacing as on my DMR. At some point in the last year or so, Kobra VR moved away from this push-button style adjustment method and went to a simple thumb screw. So for those of you with that style of rear stock adjustment, you don't have to worry about this, you're good to go. When it comes to using the Scout in games, it's every bit as good as the DMR, but you get the added functionality of being able to collapse the stock down to use handguns and throw grenades, as well as the ability to more realistically use 2-handed guns that don't have shoulder stocks on them. Kobra VR told me they haven't quite finalized pricing for the Scout kit yet, but they did say they're thinking it will be around 25 British pounds, which at the time I'm writing this video is roughly 32 US dollars. Now, if you don't own a Wolverine DMR and were hoping to be able to buy the Scout, unfortunately, as of the making of this video, Kobra VR is only planning to offer the Scout as this conversion kit. They're kind of waiting to see what demand is like for it, and then reevaluate at that point. If you're really digging the aesthetic of the Scout though, Kobra VR has its other new stock that may pique your interest called the Vyper. But we're not going to talk about that one just yet. In addition to the Scout upgrade kit, Kobra VR has also adapted one of its defining features of its Vader 1 stock, which is for the PlayStation VR 2, to now work with their Quest stocks. Because of differences between the PSVR 2 and Quest 2 controllers, Fallendorn had to come up with a different way to connect your non-dominant hand to the stock. Being unable to use their typical grab handles, he went with a magnetic attachment system. The great thing about this system is it allows you to cycle bolt-action rifles with your right hand, which doesn't really work with the typical grab handle, and allows you to much more easily use pump-action shotguns, which also doesn't work that well with the grab handles. Similar to the grab handles, it allows you to very quickly and easily release your non-dominant hand to reload, use your sidearm, and throw grenades. This new magnetic dock is anticipated to cost around 15 British pounds, which is just under 20 US dollars, and is composed of 2 pieces. For stocks like the DMR and the Vyper, you'll get this piece, which mounts to the Picatinny rail on your stock, and the other piece is a controller dock, which mounts onto your non-dominant hand controller and then connects magnetically to the mount. The Ultra-Lite and Sidewinder are also getting some upgrades, the most notable being this new shoulder stock, which Kobra VR is planning to offer as an upgrade for £15 or about $20. One of the main things Kobra VR focuses on is keeping their stocks compact and lightweight, giving you all the advantages playing with a stock provides, while also minimizing the drawbacks oftentimes associated with them. To keep the Ultra-Lite and Sidewinder stocks as lightweight as possible, Falendorn originally designed them with a very small shoulder stock. Many people have complained about it being too small though, and at the same time, Falendorn has wanted to be able to put an adjustable cheek rest on it as well. In the past, he played around with add-ons like this one to add an adjustable cheek rest to the Ultra-Lite, but this new design not only looks way cooler, but solves both problems at the same time. There is now over 5 inches of contact area here, opposed to a little less than 3 inches on the old design. And using this thumb screw, you can adjust the cheek rest, helping increase your in-game immersion. This new design does increase the weight of these stocks ever so slightly, so on the Sidewinder, Falendorn has redesigned the front end and the hinge to help get the overall weight down near the weight of the original Sidewinder. Putting them both on a scale, the new Sidewinder is 2 ounces or 58 grams heavier than the old one, which is pretty much unnoticeable. Personally, I love the Sidewinder. It's been my go-to favorite stock to play with since it launched, and this little upgrade just made a great stock even better in my book. Oh, and that magnetic front dock I mentioned earlier. You can add that to your Sidewinder or Ultra-Lite as well, if you'd like. The only difference being you swap the entire front end of these stocks for this tiny magnetic mount piece, which your controller then docks onto. Now switching over to the Ultra-Lite, since it doesn't collapse, it's getting a slightly longer version of the new shoulder stock that will allow for length adjustment, so you can dial in the perfect fit for you. In addition to the new shoulder stock, Kobra VR has made a small improvement to their controller docks as well. I don't remember when it was exactly, but a while ago, Kobra VR switched from their zip tie controller dock to a new ring mount style dock. While the new dock makes connecting and removing your controllers much quicker and easier to do, one problem that has come up is the bottom lip of the dock has a tendency to crack and break off. I solved this issue on my stocks by using a pair of snips to cut these little tabs off at an angle like this. This has made installing and removing the dock even easier, and the controller is locked in just as securely as when those little tabs were still on. To address this problem though, Kobra VR has reinforced the docks, making the plastic a little thicker, which has significantly increased the strength. And in the past month or so that I've been using the new docks, they've held up perfectly. No cracking or breaking so far. A couple other new accessories Kobra VR is launching is their bipod and this new holo-site. The bipod is something Falendorn has been playing around with for quite some time now, and I've talked about it a little bit in other videos, but he's finally landed on a design he feels good about and is ready to release. This is a pretty niche accessory in my opinion, and not one that's really useful in competitive online play. However, if you like to spend time on the range in Pavlov or Onward, it makes a huge difference when it comes to stability on long-range shots, and is a lot of fun to use. The new holo-site, on the other hand, is a purely aesthetic accessory that does nothing at all to improve your aim or help you in-game in any way. It does give a stock like the DMR, Scout, or Vyper a really sick finished look to it though. So if you're wanting your stock to look super cool, you just may have to pick one up. And that brings us to the newest addition to the Kobra VR family, the Vyper, which you can check out in this video here as soon as I finish making it. Subscribe!